Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I did say that I would do a review of the Fiat 500e, which we've been driving now for about 18 months. It's done about 11,000 miles. I'd say I've done about 7,000 of those miles. My wife's done the rest. This is her car. This is a Motability car. She's disabled. So one of the kind of, I guess, schemes that the government runs here in the UK is that you can sacrifice your mobility part of your kind of, well, it's called PIP, personal independent payments, which is basically to help you with everyday life and all the things that you might need to adapt your life to make it more kind of easy for yourself to carry out a normal life. And so you can get rid of the Motability, the motor part of that, till you get a car instead. Essentially what that means is she's sacrificing about £250 a month from her benefits to have this Fiat 500. And like I say, we've had it now for about 18 months. What does that include? Well, obviously the car itself. It also includes insurance for both myself and my wife. It also includes things like European breakdown cover, servicing, new tyres, everything that you would expect. And on top of that, you also get the BP Pulse subscription, which gives you a cheaper rate on the BP fast chargers across their network. So that's kind of useful as well, kind of cool. Yeah, that's kind of what you get with this car. Like I say, we've had it for a while now, so I thought now that we've got a car to compare it to with the Tesla, it's worth giving this one a review as well. Before this car, this was definitely our first EV. This was also kind of our first new car. Before that, we've always had old cars that kind of came to us to die, or rather I killed them. The sort of thing that you might pay like £500, £1,000 for, get to its MOT or inspection and realize that, yeah, it's not worth fixing and it's time to take it to the scrap heap. So this was a big change for us and I've really enjoyed it. So let's get into it. Let's have a look around the car. So the color here is ocean green. Now, and I am colorblind, but I really think it looks more blue than green. Comment down below, is this color blue? Is it green? What's going on here? But what was really great with this specific car is if we have a look in the door handle here and inside, you will see that it was actually made in the original Fiat factory. And there's a nice little outline of the original Fiat as well. Kind of a cool little hidden extra, but it's also great that this is an actual Italian-made car. The one thing I really dislike about this car is its back seats. They're non-existent. When we get into the car in a bit, you'll see that actually for the driver and the passenger, there's quite a lot of room. It's quite comfortable. However, it is obviously a three-door car. If we pull the front seat forward and slide it forward, this is how you'd have to get into the back seats. But you can see in the driver's seat, there really is zero leg room. I have siblings who are around 10 years old and they definitely struggle to get in the back of this car. It is not a great place to be if you need to be a passenger. I personally think that you should probably actually do a two-seater version that just gives you more boot space in that back area because it's a good sized area, just not for a passenger. You do get a full hatch, which is quite nice. It's not automatic, but you do get a decent amount of boot space, even with the seats up. You also do get the Type 2 charger for the slow chargers around the UK. And our specific one also came with a home charger. Now, the dealership said that actually they're stopping doing that when we got this. So that's probably something that they don't do anymore, which is a shame because one of the big benefits of having an EV is being able to charge at home, never having to stop at petrol stations. You also get this very small parcel shelf, which is kind of a bit gimmicky. It's not really going to be holding anything, but it does also very easily just pop off like that. And then you can kind of just pop it in the back or get rid of it if you want to. One thing that these seats are good for is the fact that they do fold down. If you put the driver's seat forward, it will fold all the way down and then you can bring the driver's seat back. But what that means is you do get quite a lot of extra space. With the seats down flat, there's a decent boot space there, and we've definitely done whole trips to IKEA. We've definitely done trips to the rubbish dump to drop off lots of big bulky items in this car. You get some weird looks pulling all this stuff out of the car, but it's a big space and it works very well. Okay, so we're now in the car, and as you can see, I've got plenty of headroom here. I am quite a big guy, both in waist and also in height. I am 6 foot, and I feel very comfortable in this space. I have plenty of leg room, I have plenty of space, and so does the kind of passenger side as well. So for the, like I say, for the driver and the main passenger, super nice space to be. It's comfortable, it's cozy. And the entertainment system as well, the infotainment system rather, is really good. We have wireless Android Auto here and also wireless CarPlay. You have kind of the normal stuff, their own system for media and comfort controls. As you can see, that kind of side of it, the navigation as well, it's built in. That's pretty slow. It's not great. To be honest, I just leave it on Android Auto. I always have. Android Auto itself is pretty responsive. You can easily kind of switch between what you're doing. And the latest updates as well that they've done here gives you a nice layout for kind of just driving. You've got your maps, you've got your music, you've got everything you need. I really like this. It's a good layout. You've also got a lot of physical buttons, which you don't get in things like the Tesla, obviously. So you've got all your climate control buttons here, which does make it much easier if you want to just switch on the AC, change the temperature. And then below that as well, you've got your kind of park, drive, neutral, and reverse. I don't like these so much. It's a bit of a strange position for me to have these. I would really rather it was on the steering wheel or a little bit higher up, but such is the design of the car. And then on the wheel itself, I've parked terribly, but you do have some extra controls for things like the cruise control. It's not adaptive cruise control, but it does have cruise control. And then things like answering the phone and that sort of thing. Well, that's this space. Like I say, it's a very comfortable space to be. So first things first, let's have a look at the parking sensors that do come in this car, and then we'll hit the road for a bit of a drive. Okay, so we're going to start the car now. You press the start button. It does have one thing that I really wish you could turn off, which is an incredibly annoying jingle. This car does have rear parking sensors. It doesn't have any on the front, but if you put the car into reverse on the central console here, I'm not sure if you can see that, but you see that you get a picture of the car with some lines on it. Now, if I start to reverse and if I start to reverse into a space, you'll see that it'll start to pick up what is behind me. These are just standard radar-based parking sensors. So I'm reversing into the parking space now. And there we go. See, it starts to pick them up. I've also noticed that it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate. The beep is definitely annoying, but they do work very well. Now, of course, some of these beautiful decor items do not come standard with the car. These are accessories that my wife has added. She's also very keen to add some to the Tesla. That's a battle we'll be fighting to try and prevent that. But comment down below, what things do you have in your car as a kind of extra decoration? Right, let's go on with the drive and let's see how it kind of handles. So I will say one of the really great things about this car is the fact that it's so light. It handles incredibly well. This car is very light, it's very small, and it has a great center of gravity. The battery pack is obviously on the bottom of the car. That's us going over the speed bump, which means that the center of gravity is very low. It feels a lot of fun to drive. The steering is quite loose. As you can kind of see, there's not a lot of friction there, which I hadn't really noticed until I started driving the Tesla, which has much stiffer steering. But for the size of the car, it does go. It's very nippy. I think it's got a rated something like 0 to 60 in 9 seconds. However, I think it goes a lot quicker than that, and it certainly feels a lot quicker than that. One downside, now that we're doing sort of 65, 70, I don't know if the mic will be picking this up, but it's quite a loud place to be. The cabin isn't very well soundproofed, which yes means you don't have the sound of the engine as it's an EV, but there's a lot of road noise in here, and on a long journey that definitely starts to take its toll if you're doing higher speeds for a long period of time. The other thing is the suspension. It's very hard suspension. You've got small wheels, very solid suspension, you can feel every single bump and dip in the road. Even with the kind of image stabilization I have on, you're probably seeing that right now. Even the smallest bumps in the road, when we're doing 70 mile an hour, you can really feel them, which is a shame, because when driving around in sort of the towns and the cities, it's a lot easier. Like, keeping it below 30, it's quiet, it's smooth, it's nice, but as soon as you have to go any distance, it really starts to struggle. And talking about distance, the range has been another thing that, you know, definitely could be better. So it has an advertised range of 200 miles. Now, I know I don't drive particularly economically, but I've never been able to hit that. I imagine I get somewhere, originally I was getting somewhere around 180 miles or so, and that wasn't too bad. I was happy with that. That's enough range that I don't have to charge every day, and I'm not doing long trips often, so when I do, it's okay to have to stop and charge. But I've definitely noticed, as we've now gone into sort of 11,000 miles, that range has started to deteriorate. Now, I don't know if it's the battery that's deteriorating, or if it's just that the whole thing is becoming less efficient, but I would say I would probably only hit about 150 miles now. I don't think my driving style has changed. I don't think I'm more aggressive or anything like that. So that's a shame. It doesn't seem like it's going to be something that lasts as well as maybe should do. Certainly, if people are going to adopt these as their full cars for many, many years, I would say you're going to have to swap out the battery a lot quicker in this car than in others. That could be that because the car does have a much smaller battery, when the cells do deteriorate, you're going to feel it more for every single one. You definitely notice that with things like the AC. It uses a lot of battery. When you've got the AC on in the summer, it drains the battery quite quickly. Because the whole battery unit is much smaller, the car itself is very efficient, so it doesn't actually need a very big battery per mile, and you definitely get a good efficiency for like kilowatts per mile. But you notice that, you know, things like the AC system that wouldn't really use much in a bigger car is actually using quite a large percentage of your fuel. And I think that's it, really. I think that's all I've got to say about this car. I really actually enjoy it. Overall, I think it is a brilliant city car. If you live in a city, this is the car I would recommend. It also has automatic brake detection. This is the kind of car that I would recommend. Now, the only problem with it is the price. Like I said, we didn't actually buy this car. It's essentially leased. Brand new, when we were looking at this car, it was £35,000, which I think is very expensive. There was a cheaper model available, but it had an even smaller battery, and it also had lots of things missing, like the infotainment system didn't exist. You actually had to use your phone as the entertainment system. So that kind of I think that model was created to sell this model and make this one look more attractive, but I still think it's on the pricey side. So if you're looking to buy it outright, I probably wouldn't recommend this car. I think it's too expensive. But overall, it is a good car. It's fun to drive, it's sporty, it's fast, it's going to give you everything you need for getting around in towns and cities. It's easy to park, it's so small. So it really depends on what you need in a car. And I think that kind of has to be the summary here. But I enjoy it, and I still enjoy driving it now, even though we do also have the Tesla. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this review. I've certainly enjoyed making it. It's been a lot of fun. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. And I also, of course, have to thank my wife for being the camera lady again, and also giving a lot of input into this video. She obviously also drives this car a lot. So she's put a lot of input into the points and everything else as well. But let's wrap it up there. If you have any kind of questions about the car, please feel free to comment down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this kind of content, please do like and subscribe. That's my wife giving the thumbs up. Please like this video. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.